FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz. Today is 5/2/19. Hey, if you were like me, you were partying like it was May Day yesterday, because it was, and I missed my Bernie bros. I was hoping they were out there, but they just don't seem to be in Florida. If they're not in Florida, where are they? That's what I'd like to know. If you're a Bernie bro or an anti-Bernie bro, email us, kl@kerrylutz.com, with your comments, feelings, etc. Well, just when you thought the blockchain was dead, that Bitcoin was heading for an early grave, Bitcoin's back over 5,000. Is it a dead cat bounce or what? Well, we've told you from the beginning, it doesn't matter what happens with the klepto currencies or cryptocurrencies, whatever you want to call them. The real thing is the blockchain, ensuring data integrity, ensuring that you have data that is unalterable, that cannot be fraudulently changed or lost. You know, things fall through the cracks, but in the blockchain, there are no cracks for it to fall through. So, person here you're going to want to hear from is working daily as we speak on the blockchain, validating data and other transactions, not just currency transactions, which is what's dominated the interest, the public's craze, the public's attention, but isn't really the big part of the blockchain. His name's Paul Snow. His company is Factum. And Paul, welcome to the show. So data infrastructure, really protecting the inviolability, the immutability of certain transactions that we really can't afford to have a broken chain on, put it that way, as we call it in the title business, a broken title chain. You can't afford to have these broken chains. That's where the blockchain really comes in and really helps keep things in order. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So what Factum has done, just to give you a little background about who I am and what we are aiming to do. What we're aiming to do is create immutable data that can be used by applications and people to document and create attestations for other data. And so it becomes the users of Factum and the applications running on Factum and the parties that step up and accept responsibility for data that builds the data integrity of the data that people are using. So let me give you just a real quick view of our architecture. What we have is we do have a tradable token in Factum that acts like a cryptocurrency. Okay, and this is used to pay the people that run the protocol. And so if you can envision a dividing line, below that dividing line, everything acts kind of like a typical cryptocurrency. But we have a 2-token system that allows you to take the tradable token and convert it to entry credits. Entry credits are used above the line. They're non-tradable. They are held to a USD value, and they are burned to write data into the Factum blockchain. And all of the cryptocurrency nature that allows Factum to be a distributed autonomous protocol is invisible to the utility of the protocol, which is to write data on the blockchain and create the cryptographic proofs of that data and to organize that data. So another way of thinking of this is below the line, Factum is a lot like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Above the line, we're very much like Hyperledger or many of the other private blockchain technologies, except that there is a worldwide public witness to ensure that all the parties participating in Factum are not changing their data. and the use of the protocol above that line can be done without ever touching anything that the world would recognize as a cryptocurrency. In other words, if you buy entry credits from an entry credit store and those entry credits are non-tradable and have a steady USD price, then what you're really buying is a subscription to use a public utility. And you are not going to go crossways with regulators. You're not going to be looked at as a money service, money transmitter business, because the tokens, by definition, aren't tradable. Once you buy them, they're yours to use to write data. Now, another big advantage of having a non-tradable token is you can empower your servers and your mobile apps to use entry credits to record data. Reading data is free in our protocol, but recording data costs money. So you can use these entry credits to write data, and you don't suffer the security risk of someone trying to attack your servers or attack your applications to steal a tradable token that they can take off someplace and sell, because it can't be traded. Therefore, you can't put it on an exchange. You can't sell it. So this is, from a thumbnail, what we're doing here at Factum.
All right. And so where are you in the process now? Are people using it currently?
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next.
Egypt is on the verge, once again, becoming a world-renowned gold producer. The golden age is being rediscovered. For millennia, ancient Egyptian kingdoms prospered from unparalleled riches. Pharaohs built their empires and flaunted their abundant wealth that was made possible by the country's resource-rich gold deposits. Despite this rich history, modern Egypt remains one of the most underdeveloped gold mining countries in the world. Eitan Resources is at the center of the modern Egyptian mining world, diligently working both as the only public exploration company in Egypt today and as the advocate for mining reform with the Egyptian government. However, those that arrive early like Eitan will reap the best rewards. Eitan's discovery of the legendary Lost Mountain of Gold at Rodruin and its current aggressive drilling program there could potentially reap those rewards. Eitan Resources is focused on its 100% owned Abu Marawat concession in the Arabian-Nubian Shield, located 200 kilometers north of Centamin Sakari's world-class gold mine. Eitan possesses first-mover advantage in the under-followed jurisdiction of Egypt, which is currently undergoing mining reform. To stay on top of Eitan's latest drill results and news, go to eitanresources.com. Eitan trades on the Toronto Venture Exchange under the ticker AAN and on the OTC under the ticker ANLBF.
The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Yeah, Factum went live in 2015, and in about a year ago, in May of 2018, we became fully distributed and autonomous, which means there are parties running the protocol worldwide that actually are responsible for approving software that we're running, to running the protocol. They're being paid from the protocol to run it, and all that. And so the ecosystem is building around Factum. Users of Factum include DHS, who's we're on the fourth phase of a SVIR, a Silicon Valley Initiative Research grant, and that fourth phase has paid us to develop and deploy and demonstrate how immutable data on Factum can be used to secure devices on the border for collecting video, vibrations, other sensors to detect when you have drug runners, when you have gun runners, human trafficking, all that sort of thing, securing our borders. An electronic wall, if you like.
Yeah, well, almost as good as a concrete wall. Better in certain respects, because you know from the data what you're up against, right? Depending on the sensors, the sensory input, what you receive from it. So I could see that being very, very useful and interesting. So well, there's a couple of aspects I'd like to put in here. Sure.
One of the problems they have is spoofing, where the bad guys buy an equivalent device and and compromise the data stream.
Right.
Another problem they have is people moving devices on locations. Another problem is being able to verify and validate what data they actually collected, and by default, then proving what they didn't collect. And so Factum solves all these problems. It creates digital identities for each device in a lightweight, low-cost fashion that allows you to prove that you're talking to the right device, so you can't insert another device. The device actually signs the data, so no one can create video loops that make it appear that nothing's going on, because to do that, the device has to sign the data, and if they've captured the data and try to replay it, it's all timestamped, so I can tell that I'm looking at old data, not new data. So a lot of different techniques are being used to secure the data stream, as well as the source of the data that they're using to monitor the thing. We are also had a grant with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to do medical records in South Africa. We have worked with Linksens to create document RFID tags that are backed by the Factum blockchain for things like passports and birth certificates and car registrations and whatnot. We're working with Equator, who handles a good percentage of the foreclosures in the U.S., to create audit trails behind each foreclosure to ensure that every foreclosure is handled according to the rules set forth by the regulators. Because in particular, foreclosures are very litigious. People tend to argue when their house is taken away from them. So in these situations where it becomes very critical to document that you went through all of the proper steps, having a provenance of that process, a data trail, is very, very important. And we have other customers.
Yeah. All right. So what else? What other applications we got for this?
Well, digital identity is probably the most important aspect of the blockchain. And there are W3C standards for digital identity. And we're building a digital identity system that's both compliant with the W3C standards for digital identity, as well as extending them to handle the provenance of an identity, allowing you to reset an identity through a cryptographically provable authority, which can be yourself, or it can be another entity like a company or a identity manager service, and to allow you to be able to cycle your keys. Because one of the problems that you have with digital identity, when digital identity is a key, is once your key is compromised, all of the data that's it, your identity's ruined. We are creating a identifier that holds the keys, and that allows the keys to be swapped out. And it goes further than certificates like CA certificates for websites, because the blockchain provides timestamping of data and timestamping of signatures, which means that you can keep a historical record of what's valid, even if your keys are changed.
Got it. All right. Well, it sounds really interesting. It sounds like the next step in the blockchain. And I like the fact that we're getting away from so-called klepto currencies, because I think they have limited utility. I'm not sure that I see the future for them right now. All a cryptocurrency is just another type of asset. It's an intangible asset. And, well, the future has yet to decide its utility, although we will go to some type of digital currency, no doubt. But the current crop of cryptocurrency is not so sure. Well, anyway, Paul, just tell us if we want to find out more about what your company's doing, how we can contact you, how we get the inside track on this.
Well, you can find out about our company at factum.com. You can learn about the protocol at factumprotocol.org. You can go to the Reddit and find the subreddit of Factum, where a good bit of information is provided. And from Reddit, you can find links to our Discords and to the many companies that are using Factum and working it within the protocol. And from there, you fall down the rabbit hole and chase the interest that's important to you.
That's a good start. We appreciate your help and good luck to you. Hey, any questions or comments for Paul or myself, email us, kl@kerrylutz.com, Twitter feed @KerryLutz, Facebook page, Financial Survival Network. Whether you're listening to this in a podcast or on YouTube, please subscribe, like, and share. Really helps me a lot when you do that and helps get important information out there like what Paul had to share with us today. So again, just subscribe, like, and share. We really appreciate it, Paul. We really appreciate your coming on. Good luck, and we'll be following up with you to see what's happening.
All right. Well, thank you very much for having me on your show.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.